10 acts, 4 super finalists, but only one winner in Norway, and it is Agnete with Icebreaker. You guys, she brought the heat. That ice has melted. I thought the staging was great. I thought her voice was great. How are you feeling?
I am really, really happy. My top 4 was their top 4. So that was like, that's once in a lifetime. It never happens, but this time it did. So Agnete was my favorite, but I would have been happy with all 4 of them. And well, in the beginning she was the favorite, but you have to deliver on the night itself. And she did great. And you already said her voice was really good and the staging was really good. And of course they have a few things they have to work on, but overall it seems like, yeah, a really good one for a great spot in Stockholm. So I'm really happy with this one.
I'm feeling conflicted because when we did our very first video on our first reaction, my number 1 was Agnete and Icebreaker. But then when I lived with the songs for a few weeks, my number 1 was The Hungry Hearts with Laika. But then when The Hungry Hearts and Laika got knocked out, my number 1 was Layla with Afterglow. And then Agnete won with Icebreaker. So yeah, I'm kind of conflicted. I should be happy because she was my number 1 like maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, but she wasn't my number 1 tonight. But yeah, she's a good song, a good singer, so I can't be too sad about it.
This really improved for me live. The studio version I thought was okay, but I wasn't like blown away. But there's something about her live. She's a really good performer. It's like she has this kind of emotional, sexual, sensual connection to the camera. Because at one point she looked at the camera and was like, and it was almost like she was gonna, I don't know, go down on someone. It was just so erotic. And I liked the staging, how they had the person in the box. We actually saw this with Sia on the X Factor in the UK a few weeks ago. Very similar setup. It's kind of like a modern take on Farid Mamadov's glass closet or glass box. It's just so modern, interpretive. It was just perfect. I actually was struggling to believe this was the same venue that hosted Eurovision 2010 because the Eurovision 2010 stuff looked a bit cheap, but everything tonight was just on point, amazing. Yeah, she is gonna do well, I think, in Stockholm. To me, she sounds like a happy Margaret Berger. Like, Margaret Berger stuff is often a little dark, and like, not that she's moody and depressed, but this just sounds like a happier version of that. I absolutely love it. And the fact is, if you go on our Instagram account and look at her after she won, she's legitimately surprised and shocked. We spent all night on Twitter putting up images of her reacting like, ah! Because she like so sincerely didn't think she would win. It's so sweet. I'm just in love with the girl.
And in the beginning we were a little, well, surprised about the different kind of songs put together in one song. It sounded a little weird and we didn't know if it would work. But I don't know, maybe it's because I've listened to the song multiple times now, but I think the live version, it didn't sound weird or something. It really fits, yeah, this night. So yeah, it was just really good.
Does that tempo change bother either of you? Because when she gets to the chorus, it like slows down. And for a while, I found it really jarring, but on stage, I didn't mind.
Oh.
I think it's good. It sets it out from the typical Eurovision ballad because generally, maybe not so much this year, but in previous years, we've gotten a deluge of ballads and they all kind of blend into one. Whereas this tempo sets it out from the rest of the ballads. And it maybe, I don't know if you could call it a modern twist, but it is a certain kind of twist. And it does make it that bit more unique. And it works in pop songs. Like Girls Aloud, for years, they had songs that sounded like 2 songs chopped together and just put together. Whereas this is basically 2 songs put together too, 2 different songs. And it works. I think it works.
The runner-up was Freddie Callas with Field Rush. Now, Denise, you've talked about liking cheap music and how this kind of appealed to you. And it was very cheap on stage as well, very tropical, but it was cool. Like, for some reason, it was so kitsch. It was aware that it was being silly. And so, because it didn't take itself too seriously, I was quite into it. He sounded great live, I thought. The man has a good voice.
And because a lot of people hate it, I just want to say, feel the rush in my body, see me moving, feeling happy, baby, watch me when I'm grooving. I love it. I still really love that song. And even, I mean, on stage, it was just one big party. And it wasn't serious. The song isn't serious, but it just worked. And yeah, it was way better than I expected it to be. And I was really surprised. I thought it might have been, or it might be in the super final, but not second place. But I'm really happy about it. He did great, and it's so fun. And I will keep on listening to this song.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Norwegian final without a kind of novelty act doing quite well. Last year we had the Pizza Men. This year we had Freddie. It's fun, it's catchy, but there's not much substance to it. And I think it says a lot that originally he just recycled a song that he'd had a hit with before, and he thought he'd get away with entering it into Melodi Grand Prix again. And they were like, no, no plagiarism of your past song. And he had to change it again. It's fun, it's catchy, but it wouldn't have been a great Eurovision anthem.
In third place, it was Sweet 16 with Anna Lee. This was fantastic. I know they're a generic boy band, but something about this was very fresh and happy. It made you smile. They were all on top of each other, which may have turned on some of our readers. They need to maybe space themselves out in the future. I was pleasantly surprised by this. Some people said, oh, they're pretty, but can they sing? And I think the answer is yes, they can sing.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. Normally, always the teen girls, they love boy bands like this, and I would be like, okay, don't vote for them. I'm not a teen girl anymore, so I don't like this. But on the podium, well, they sang pretty well, and I think the performance, well, they were having fun, and I think that was great to see. And they are really young, but I think they had enough, or it seemed like they had enough experience to be on that big stage. And it wasn't just fun for teen girls, it was fun for everyone. So I was really pleasantly surprised.
If you look at it purely on the Melodi Grand Prix stage, they were very good. But then if you look at it at the wider Eurovision stage, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I might have been more appreciative of them, but now we have Lighthouse 10, we have Joe and Jake, we potentially have Franz, we have Nicky Byrne, we have Freddie, we probably have Just in Latvia. We're getting a lot of these male boy band style singers. Some of them aren't as boy band as others, but there is a lot of testosterone floating around.
Chorizo, there's a lot of chorizo.
A lot of chorizo, yes. And I think Sweet 16, they're probably better than Lighthouse 10, but I think it's probably a good option that Norway didn't go for them.
And in fourth place, the last gold finalist, it was Layla Samuels with Afterglow. I thought this was going to win. She sounded amazing. I loved the kind of David Lindgren Melody Festival and shadow light slices. I mean, it's like literally slices of fog because they project something and then project on top of that. It was fantastic. She was vocally on point. I'm curious why this didn't do better in your mind. Is it that she and Agnete canceled each other out in some weird way?
Might have been, and I don't know. I really liked it, and I think that the staging was really good. But like I said in the first video about Norway, I really think that the chorus was the best part of this song. And if you look at Agnete, the whole song is really good, and here is just the chorus. So maybe that's why, yeah, they thought the whole song has to be good. So yeah.
Personally, if I was picking the Norwegian winner, I would have picked Layla. I don't think she deserved to be fourth out of the super finalists. Her song seemed that bit more modern, whereas I know that Agnete has the whole tempo change and that maybe makes it stand out, but Layla's had some kind of unique quality about it. It seemed ethereal, was maybe Loreen-esque, and she just seemed to be more of an artist. It seemed to stand out more, whereas Agnete is singing songs, she sings it very well, whereas Layla seemed to live the song nearly. The staging was very good. The only thing I would have chopped the topless dancer. Like, we all appreciate a bit of eye candy, but he didn't add anything to it. Yeah, I don't think she deserved to be fourth, and yeah.
And I know that Laika, the Hungry Hearts, they did not make the super final, but I have got to bring them up. I thought they were amazing. This had a Verker Serduchka quality in that it was so different from everything else that even if you didn't like the song, you were mesmerized. You're like, WTF? And I happen to love this song. I think they sounded great. I think they looked amazing. They drove like a mom mobile onto the stage. Who does that? And they come marching out in pink dresses, and there's like a space dog flying in the background. And then, yeah, the featuring vocalist Lisa Dillon, she really sounds like an alien. Like she's from outer space. There's this quality in her voice that you're like, what is that? I don't know. I hope to see them back again in the future with another crazy, kooky song. This was my number one, and it remains that way.
No, I hate it. And I think most of the viewers already hate me if they saw the Melfest video about me hating dollies. But right now, I think even more viewers hate me because I really hate this song. It is in some kind of way fun, but I also hated Verka in Ukraine. I think it's something similar with that. It's just really crazy. It's they don't take themselves that serious, but neither do I, and it's not fun in a good way. I mean, Freddie, for me, it was really fun and it really made me happy, but this song, it's just making me so depressed. I absolutely hate this. It was the worst song for me. I don't know, a lot of people love this song, but I even prefer the Pegasus band over this, and that was already really bad. So no, just only hate. Yeah.
I actually had an epiphany after we recorded the first reaction video to this, and this, like, straight away from being fairly low down, went to my number one. And I was like, all along, I was like, Hungry Hearts are going to get into super fun, and Hungry Hearts. And then when it was just them and Freddie, I was like, Freddie's going into the final, because he has like millions of streams on Spotify, whereas they don't. But they just had some kind of kookiness, and you need a bit of that kookiness at Eurovision. And the thing is that they weren't a novelty act because they were different, but like it wasn't a joke. Their message was quite serious and they were sincere about it. They weren't just there to make a mockery of everything, and they were retro, but they weren't dated. Like, you were singing the praises of this weird Romanian one who was actually English in the Romanian national final. She was just bad. They embraced the retroness, but they made it feel modern at the same time. And yeah, it's a shame that they didn't even make the gold final, as they call it.
Oh, well, that's what we think. What do you think? You can let us know here on wiwibloggs. And Denise, what else can they do?
Well, they have to subscribe.
Boring.
And if you like it, hit the like button.
Yes, it's almost, that was so natural. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.